Hi everyone and welcome to Flosstube 63. This is gonna be the end of the year extravaganza. Take yourself a cup of coffee or you're stitching and come join me because this is gonna be a little bit of a longer video. Today I'm going to do a WIP parade of all my WIPs. I'm also going to talk about my plans for 2025. Gosh, it's almost New Year. It's almost New Year. But first, I am going to talk about the finishes that I've done in November and December, because since I updated you on my stitching, it's been over 2 months, almost 2 months. A few notes about that. I was away on vacation in November, most of November actually. We were away 24 days. We went to the US. I didn't get a lot of stitching because I had a really good vacation. Then I came home and everything just curveballs everywhere. I look a little bit sickly. I am very much aware that I look a little bit sickly. I have not been able to eat properly for about a month. The doctors are all on board and we're trying to figure out why this is happening. There can be a lot of different reasons and right now none of them are clear. But right now we don't really know. We just know that I have a very limited amount of food that my tummy tolerates. So not enough nourishment and I look a little bit sickly, but it will go away. It will go away. I do believe that 2025 is gonna be my year. I say that every year. It's gonna happen this time. Anyhow, before we head into anything of this, I am going to lay on a little bit of statistics. It's not a lot, a little bit of statistics. I enjoy statistics. I use Markup RX to have my patterns on, both because I really like being able to just mark off the stitches very easily and keep track of my stitching that way, but also it kind of tracks my stitches, how many stitches I do every day. And every day at the end of the day I will go in and add that into the Notion through the stitch tracker in Notion, and that way I get a lot of fun statistics on my stitching. Today we're gonna just have like 2 different ones. The first one is how many finishes did I do this year? I actually only did 40. Last year I did over 100. This year I only did 40. I don't mind though because they are a little bit of a bigger projects. I did 40 finishes, and for the work in progress that I have going, I only stitched on 10 of them. I actually had a bunch of new starts last year, but this year, 2024. But how many stitches did I do? Well, I did, or will have done by the end of the year, over 250,000 stitches. Right now I am about 500 stitches shy of that, and there's still 4 days left. So I know that I will hit 250,000 stitches in 2024, which is just crazy. I really like that. It is a little less than 1,000 stitches a day. I think it's about 750, somewhere around there. It's a lot of stitches, and I have had days when I've stitched maybe 10 stitches, and I have days when I stitch maybe 2,000, because I do count half stitches as full stitches, but they go twice fast. That was all of the statistics. Let's jump into my finishes that I have been doing since, well, during December. So the first finish I have is an ATC. Now this one is actually a partial of a bigger pattern. The ATC swaps theme, this was Winter Wonderland. And for me it's like houses with snow. That is what I need to show you. I went through the magazines, and I just had gone through the magazines, and I knew that there were one project in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, Christmas 2024, that I really wanted to do, and that is the North Wind, and that is designed by Witch's Garden Craft. And this is my part of it. So when I've stitched this, I have made one little change. I have added 1 row of darker stitches at the end to match the darker stitches in the beginning. So this is how it looks. If you want to have it more true to color, this is where it is. My camera, this camera, I can't set the color correction straight off, so it's just gonna go back and forth when I showcase these. That's just how it's gonna be. But anyhow, this is the project and it was super fun to stitch. This is gonna be fully finished. I'm gonna fully finish this weekend and then I'm gonna send it out. But it's gonna get a couple of white like lacy ribbons, the bottom to be snow, to just frame this a little bit more. And the ATC size should be how I stitched around it. That is that project. That was the first finish from coming home from the vacation, because I knew I needed to get that done, and then I just haven't had fully finishing capacities since. The next project, there are actually 4 finishes in one. I did count them as separate finishes, however I have stitched them on the same piece and they come from the same pattern. It is a Christmas card designs by Margaret Sherry. This was from the issue 353, which is the special Christmas issue of World of Stitches magazine for this year. And Margaret Sherry is one of those designers I have been stitching since I got back into stitching in 2004. I love her designs. I've stitched a lot of them. I even found one of the designs that I'm like, I saw in the magazine, I want to stitch this, and then I went through my finishes for my finishes box, and I had already stitched it. So that was kind of fun. Margaret Sherry sadly passed away in 2019. However, her daughter is the one who takes care of all her art, and I don't know if her daughter has started designing also, or if she's just a custodian of the arts. Anyhow, there is still patterns being made. So let's go through these. These are 4 of them. We can start with this little cute ducky. It is a caroling ducky. I was hoping to be able to make these into ornaments to give to my family this year. However, energy wise, I just didn't have the energy. This is stitched like all of my finishes this end of the year is stitched on light blue even weave 32 count by Zweigart. You can find it on my website or on my Etsy store, which will always be linked in the description down below if you like this fabric. It is a very cool blue. It is not like super light, but it's still a light blue, which means that white actually pops really nicely on this fabric, which can be like a hit or miss when you have light fabrics. If you want white have a tendency to kind of want to disappear on fabric, but this is dark enough for white to pop, and it's a cool blue, which is perfect for like winter scenes and keeping that cool color. So I love this blue, which you will see. Then we have our little snail with a package. Let's see. There, maybe. So there we go. We got that one. As I said, I'm sorry if the color is going in and out. That's how it is. Then we have a little cow holding a sock, and then we have the last one, which is this little piggy with a little letter. And all of these came from the same pattern collection from that magazine. All of the information will be linked in the description down below, so if you also want to stitch them. I use the World of Stitching magazine app for iPad, where I have purchased all of the digital magazines. So for me, I just open the magazine, I bookmark. That app is great because you can bookmark, and then you have a specific bookmark section where you can see all of your bookmarks from all of the magazines you have bookmarked in, like that, because then you can, it's a quicker way to get to the patterns. Anyhow, I love them. The last finish is also a Margaret Sherry design. This is actually from the Margaret Sherry Cross Stitch Collection magazine, which I bought also from the World of Cross Stitching magazine, but from the special section. You can also get it from the Cross Stitch Collection magazine app on on iPad. They're separate apps. I have all of my magazines in one app, so I went into the special section. They said, hey, you can get a deal to get all of the special magazines for so and so much, and it's actually fairly cheap in the World of Stitching magazine app. So I got all of the specials, and this is the Margaret Cherry collection, and you can get so many. But anyhow, there is 3 very, very cute mices for a, again, card collection. I'm going to make them into ornaments. It's also on the 32 count light blue, but this is the little mouse, and I only made one so far. But isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? I love this. I love this little mouse. I actually did stitch these. They came as a kit from the beginning in one of the World of Stitching magazines. So I have stitched them and I made them into cards, and I even made a card tutorial on that over on my card channel. So there is a tutorial on how to make them into cards. I do tend thinking about making little ornament tutorials. That was all of my finishes. As I said, there weren't that many finishes this year, and not at the end of the year. Usually I do like 18, 20 teeny tiny ornaments or something, but I just haven't had the capacity to do so. I actually spent most of December stitching on Christmas House 1. And I think I got like 6,000 or 7,000 stitches into it. So I did get a lot of that. So we have our WIP Parade. Now I have removed 2 WIPs from my roster for 2025. One is Arctic Animal Club by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I really love the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I love the designs. I did not like Arctic Animal. I like the idea of it. I don't like the execution. And when I got the first part, I decided to remake this signage, because I really didn't like the text on the signage. I didn't like how big the sign was, so I remade it. And I always felt a little bit sad about it, or a little bit guilty, because I don't want to rechart someone else's chart. So in the end, I think it's gonna be a complete UFO, but at the moment I'm putting it in pause, because maybe I change my mind about the signage. You never know, you never know. I'm just gonna stitch the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery projects that I really, really like. The other project I'm putting in hiatus is Blackwork Birds. There's a lot of reason for it, but I think I just chose the wrong fabric, the wrong count. I just think that happened, and so that is gonna go in hiatus for 2025. That leaves me with 9 works in progress, and I am going to show you them from the oldest to the youngest. The first one is a Christmas House 1. I started this December 8th, 2018, so I've had this for a while now. I am trying to work through it. I actually got a solid like 30,000 stitches done this year on it, or 35, so it's been quite a lot of stitches done for this project. Now Christmas House 1 is designed by Steve Crisp, and it is charted by Artisy. I don't buy projects from Artisy anymore, because they do sell AI art. They do showcase that they are by Midjourney, which is the AI engine. AI art is made on the backs of other artists. The engine that you use is taught. You teach it based on art that isn't licensed to be teaching that engine. So they basically stole the designs to teach this AI, all the AIs, and I'm not on that. I love our designers, and I want our designers to keep on designing, and I think stealing their art and using AI with them is just not okay. Any charter that is supporting AI art or selling AI art, I will not purchase from them. That is my decision. You do you. That's just how I feel. However, for the patterns that I have bought that is for designers that I love, I am going to stitch them. Those patterns gonna be stitched, but I no longer purchase from Artsy and will not purchase from them until they choose not to sell AI art charts, which they probably won't, so they will keep on doing that. But anyhow, this is Christmas House 1. It's previously been named Over the Rooftop when it was charted by another charter, but here it is. This is how far I've gotten. It's quite a lot more on this. This is 34.1% of the project, and since you saw it, I have actually finished this what's it called? Christmas, yeah, wagon. It's not a wagon, but hey, it's a sleigh. It's a sleigh. I got the word. The sleigh and the first reindeer and some antlers. Right now I'm just trying to fill in these three boxes. 2 boxes is it. It's about 20 stitches high, because I realized I've bitten off a little bit more than I can chew, so it doesn't really fit in the frame the whole width. So I just want to finish off here to then continue going with that. So yeah, that is Christmas House 1. The next project I have is actually one that wasn't out 2024, and I don't think I stitched it on 2023 either. I don't have any statistic on this project, except for right now I know it's 39.6% because I finally gotten it into Markup RX and into Notion, and that is Sloth. This is one of 7 designs designed by Martha Dollig. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Heaven and Earth Designs again supports AI art, therefore I don't support them. However, I do have all of the 7 sins and I'm gonna stitch them because Martha Dollig is a wonderful designer. I have no clue if I'm gonna put them on the wall, but they're gonna be stitched sometime. So this is how far I've gotten on Sloth. Yay! As I said, that is 39.6%. I started this the 1st of October 2020. I am going to start stitching on her in diagonals. So I'm just going to let those thread hang there and park diagonal from that corner. And hopefully that will be great. My third project on the list, my third oldest project, which I started the 16th of March 2023. So yeah, I don't actually have that many old projects, is Gamer Nouveau. This is designed by Medusa Dollmaker but charted by Gecko Rouge. Gecko Rouge no longer carries Medusa Dollmaker, however you can find her charted version on her website, which always, all of the details are linked in the description down below. But this is Gamer Nouveau, how far I have come. And I've done like 30,000 something stitches this year on her too. And it's 23.4% done. So yeah, that is Gamer. And I love that one. I really, really love that one. There's, as you see, I have a couple of full coverage. The next project is a dimension project, and you're gonna see it in the frame because this is my current job, my current work, and I'm kind of hoping to be able to finish this by the end of the year. We'll see, but I'm hoping. And that is this one, which is called Coffee Shop by Dimension. And basically in the last 2 days I finished the full door here, and you have a bunch. You look closely, you see there's so many little French knots, white French knots. All of those snowflakes are white French knots, and they're sort of strangely kind of calm to be making. I had a lot. I actually did all of them this morning for this door, and I was just sitting there at 5 in the morning and doing little French knots. It was really nice. It's really nice. But yeah, that one I started December 28th, 2023 when I was on vacation in Florida. I haven't really touched it, so I decided, hey, I want to get a lot done on it. Next project is Little Red Riding Hood, and I'm a little embarrassed about how little left it is. But the whole idea was that I needed something to bring with me for my Christmas because I finished almost all of this. And then we went away for 2 days to my brother over Christmas, and I couldn't take this with me because it would be so low finished. It's 214 stitches left on this. Yeah, this is the Little Red Riding Hood. This is stitched on 16 count dirty by Zweigart, and I switched out the red to, I think it's 117 DMC variegated. So here you go. That is the project, and as you see, I only have a couple stitches down there. It's 214 stitches. It's 97.3% done. But yeah, that is where we are with that one, and that was my 5th project. So for my 6th project was actually a start that I started this year, and that is Dragon Ride by Teresa Wenzler. This is a kit. Teresa Wenzler doesn't design anymore, so you can find the patterns maybe on a D-Stash or something, but they are harder and harder to find. This is, let's see, we're at 62.2% done on this one, and this is how it looks. I really love the little guy. He is made 1/1 and the rest is 2/2 on the kit fabric, which is just a 28 count even weave in cream. Now here's the thing, I wanted to finish this before the end of the year, but when I got this chart into Markup RX, so this is a paper chart, so what I do is I scan the paper, and it is a bigger chart than my scanner, so I have to just scan it in pieces and then I have to sew it together, and I did a really crappy job on that. The first 2 pieces, the first half was really good. The second half was really bad. It has made me not wanting to stitch on it because there's so many things I needed to fix with the pattern, and then when I had finished the pattern I need to re-add all of the stitches, so then I can't stitch on it that day because then the statistics, it doesn't match, and yeah, the whole thing, which just have made me not stitch on the dragon. However, I finally sat down and got all of that done, so I am gonna get this done before the 29th of January. That is the goal, because that is when the next Chinese New Year is, which is gonna be the year of the snake. So yeah, but this is the dragon so far. I think he is so gorgeous. This is also gonna have beads. The whole edge here around is gonna have beads, if I can find the beads. We'll see. I might have misplaced them, but yeah, the edge is gonna have beads, and then we have the whole back of the dragon left. But yeah, it's gonna be super fun to stitch on that one going forward. For the next project, that is Autumn Love. This is by Lori Holt for Be In My Bonnet, and this is also one of those that I just want to finish, but yeah, that is how far I've gotten. I love the design, but it's harder for me to keep myself interested in this piece because there is a lot of just boxes of color, but I really love the design. This is a 32 count vintage country mocha by Zweigart, even weave. Really like how that is going forward. I have 2 more projects, the 2 last project. Next is another dimension. This is something I started a sal with, and then I kind of fizzled out because I didn't realize that there's like 65,000 stitches on this project, so it's bigger piece of fabric, and I got 46,000 stitches left, and that is not counting the French knots and the back stitching, and this has a lot of French knots. I don't know if you can see them, but there's so many French knots on this project already. So this is how big the piece of the fabric is. This is a 18 count cream Aida came in the kit. It is a little bit wrinkly. I actually washed this fabric so that it isn't as stiff as Dimension projects usually is, which is a tip. They use a lot of starch in the fabrics for the Dimension kits, and if you're gonna wash it, make sure to serge or zigzag your edges. I have serged mine with my serger so that it doesn't unravel, but I then just, I don't know if I washed it by hand or throw it in the washing machine, something like that. Then I stitch on it, and that is the corner of all the flowers. I'm not a flowery person, so I don't know why I started with the flowers, but I think I started with flowers because I love the houses, and I want to have the houses as a carrot to finish it. But yeah, so that was Paris Market, and I have 2 sale tags for that, and that is hashtag Paris Market Sale or hashtag Farmore Sale, because it is a remembrance piece for my grandmother on my father's side. So my father's mother, Farmor. Basically how Swedish works. So for the last project I have in my WIP Parade is a project you will never have seen, because I had a new start in December. When I was in Florida, I picked up a lot of DMC. Here's the thing. DMC in Sweden is expensive. It's very expensive. The cheapest I can get DMC in Sweden, even online, is actually online in Sweden, and that is right now $1.6. In Florida, I get DMC, like the original price, I get DMC for around 70 or $0.7, so 70 cents. It's really inexpensive for me. It's half the price for what I buy in Sweden. If I would buy in store in Sweden, I would pay about double that, so it's just even more. So when I go to Florida, I buy a lot of thread. That is one of the things I do. This year I bought 598 skeins of DMC. Yeah. And with that I filled up my full set of DMC, but I also stashed up 3 full coverage projects. So there is a full coverage site called Unconventional Stitches. They are against AI art, so their art is not AI, which I just love. They represent a bunch of beautiful artists, and I fell in love with an artist called Ivy Dollemore, and she just, yeah, she makes beautiful art. I bought 2 patterns from her, and then I have a 3rd pattern from Unconventional Cross Stitch called the Witch's Familiar Heron. So really loving those projects, but I haven't started. 2 of them is now kitted up, or I have the fabric and I have the threads, but I need to make a kit out of it. It's not going to be any starts from 2025, but I did start one of them, and that is a Rose Library by Ivy Dollemore, and this is how far I've gotten. That is almost 1%. It's 0.98%. Yeah. This is the end of the page, so the bottom of the page. This is where my row is gonna be. I realized something when I started stitching my diagonal and using a Markup RX is Markup RX doesn't have, well, I can see the pages on it, so that's not a problem, but I use the full view where you can see the whole pattern at once. When I did that, I kind of like, oh, I can have as many rows as I want to. I don't have to follow the pages. However, it's easier for me to talk about it like, oh, look, I finished a page row, instead of just saying a row of this high amount of stitches. A page row is so much easier, but also I have a hard time stopping myself, so I make too many stitches, so it's hard to fit them into my frame and all of those things. So now I'm gonna go for pages. So my goal when I put this into my frame was to finish it down to the page bottom, so I have the full diagonal down to that, and that is where we are. and it's stitched just as all of them on 25 count. This is easy count, so these lines will wash out. It's done in diagonal parking because that is my favorite one, and I have started at the right top corner because it fits my way of parking better, or the way I make my stitches better. So the parking kind of gives you that like little see-through line there, which also means that the stitches are much more even. So I am going to convert all of my projects to this kind of vertical parking when I have gotten to a page row, except for the Sloth, because Sloth I did in columns. So I'm just gonna go straight on and do the vertical, diagonal, it's not vertical, it's diagonal parking with the upper right. But yeah, that is all of the projects that I have. That was my WIP Parade. I hope you enjoy that. Now we have a little section of plans, and then I am going to get this video edited and up for you. But let's talk about plans. So, plans for 2025. Well, in 2024 I actually did WIP Go, and I actually did finish WIP Go. My WIP Go is, the way I do it is I do full coverage. I do 1500 stitches or 4 days, whatever comes first. Some days, if you sit on a full coverage project that has a lot of confetti, sometimes I don't even get up to 500 stitches in a day. So having those 4 days usually means I can hit those 1500. But it also allows me to, after 4 days, when my energy disappears, if you saw my 4-day rotation, you know all about it. 4-day rotation video, you know all about that. It kind of helps me kind of just, okay, I haven't done 1500 stitches, but it is for day 4, so we can leave this now. So that is how I plan my WIP Go. Last year I actually finished WIP Go. I did cheat a little bit. The last WIP Go draw I had was the Gecko Rouge, the Gamer Nouveau project, and I actually had Christmas House 1 on my frame, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put in 1500 stitches more on that one, because I had overproduced stitches for these. Both of them got much more than those 1500 stitches every time I stitched. So I just decided that, well, I'm gonna put in another 1500 on Christmas House 1. I'm gonna just change that day because that makes things a little bit easier in the long run. So I did finish WIP Go, which I'm super happy about. I am going to do WIP Go again this year with my now 4 full coverage, which also means that I get a little bit more variation, which is gonna be super nice. And I already have January is already drawn, so I do have 2 days in January. I think it's Christmas House 1 and Rose Library. Think. I am going to put my WIP Go board over here so you can see how it looks. I also am going to put it out on my Instagram. I'm going to be a little bit better at posting on Instagram this year, so that is going to be have some plans of different like visuals. I want to get into my Instagram. I want to do my daily posting on Instagram and all of those things. So we'll see how that will work, if I will falter because energy, but I will try. Can't do anything else than try. So yeah, that is my first big goal, is to get those 1500 stitches done on my full coverage every month. Now I am planning my stitches. I did a calculations on how many stitches that I could get throughout the year if I was planning on 500 stitches a day. Now if you looked, as I said in the beginning of Master Statistics, I almost stitched 250,000 stitches. I am not gonna count on me doing 250,000 stitches. Instead, I'm counting on me doing 500 stitches a day. And then, because I will have days when I don't have the energy to stitch at all, I have days when my crochet is gonna call me more. So I'm gonna have a plan for 500 stitches. However, I'm not gonna do my plan for the full year. I am going to do it per monthly. So for January, here's my plans for, well, end of December and January, and that is I am going to finish Coffee Shop by Dimension. That project, I just want to get it done and out, both because I really enjoy stitching on it at the moment. I'm getting quite a lot of stitches done every day. I have 4,200 stitches left on it, and yesterday I did 1,400 stitches on it and some stitches on another project. So I'm hoping to be able to put in like between 1,000 and 1,500 every day, which means it should be done in 3 days maybe. If that is correct, then that would mean I have finished it within this year. I'm also going to finish the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Little Red Riding Hood. I only have 240 stitches on that, almost done. I want to get that done. I want to get that fully finished so I can give it to my brother for like just hang over his daughter's crib is kind of the idea I have. We'll see if he will enjoy that. So those are the 2 projects that I know that I want to kind of work on in January. The 3rd project is the dragon, the Theresa Vansler Dragon Rider. I want to put in at least 4 days of stitching on that. I want to finish it by the end of January, hopefully. So it might take me two periods of 4 days and do something in between, just to let myself not burn out on the project. Mainly, I don't think I can finish it in 4 days. I think it will take me about 8 days to finish it, but hopefully it will be done by those 8 days. I still have a few days left in January, and those are going to be dedicated to my WIP Go draws. So I get my 2 WIP Go draws finished also in January. And I think that will fill up January, but that will also reduce my in-progress WIPs from the 9 to the 6. Which means I am going to have a bunch of new starts in February. So those are the plans at this moment. I am really looking forward to finishing those projects so I can start some others. I know that I have a Autumn Lane stitchery project that I really want to get the patterns and dig my teeth in. I also want to find new designers and new stitching, and I'm gonna share that with you when I figure those out. I did a couple of videos last year that was like fall and Halloween projects, like 30 stitches for Halloween, 30 stitches for fall. I want to continue that series and really go into deep dive into some different pattern makers and some different patterns, because I am embracing a little bit in myself. I kind of figured out that my fashion style is cozy goth. To be honest, it is called cozy goth. I am a little bit more goth than I thought I was. I found this crocheter, Alt Knots is what she's called. She's basically goth and love her designs and everything, but you also have like video movies. You can read books with her and watch movies with her and stuff like that. Like you watch the movie but she discuss it with you and all of that. And she does a lot of horror, and I always thought like, I don't like horror isn't my thing. I love horror, I just don't like jump scare horror. Yeah, apparently I love horror, I love thrillers, I love that kind of videos. So I'm going to embrace the darker side of me. I still like cute and cuddly things, but I want to see how I can kind of mesh them. So I am looking for designers that do cute and cuddly horror. I do have a few of them on my docket, but I want to see more. I want to see more, and we'll see if I can figure that out. I also have a lot of designers that isn't gothy or anything, but I still really love their designs, and I'm gonna stitch them because I realize more. Like, I am trying to figure out who I am. I'm 43 years old and I don't have a clue. Finding out that I actually am autistic and I have ADHD kind of just put everything into perspective, and I'm trying to figure out who I am, and that also means figuring out what I want to stitch. And I realized that sometimes I stitch on something and I don't like it, and sometimes I have just said that that kind of designer isn't my thing, and then I find a design I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love this one. So hopefully I can share more patterns with you as I kind of figure out who I am as a stitcher. I'm also going to try to figure out who I am as a designer a little bit more solidly. I have plans for 2025 for all of the store things, and I'm trying to figure out who I am as a designer, and that is why I haven't had any patterns out or anything, is that I need to figure out who I am before I can share it with you. Because one of the problems I have is that when I start designing, I design what I want to design, and then I don't feel it's enough, and then I see someone that is very like popular at the moment, and my brain just, oh, we're gonna merge all of our ideas towards that style, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to find a style that is mine and then work from it. If other people have it too, other people have it too. That's just a part of it. But I want to decide, I want to design things that I want to have on my walls. And to be able to do that, I need to figure out what I want to have on my walls. So yeah, it will happen. We have all of 2025 to figure all of these things out. So if you are here by the end of this, I just want to let you know that there is a sale going on over on my store for all fabric, all the way to to the end of the year. So if you are interested in buying any of my fabrics, you can just head over to my store and you can find them there, the sale that is going on. Hopefully you find something that you like. And yeah, if you have been with me this long, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too all over the place. I had to restart this a couple of times, so we'll see how it will work. And my batteries have run out a couple of times. But yeah, we'll see. That is my plan so far. That is all the ideas so far. There will be links in the description down below if you are interested in seeing all of my ideas and my thoughts and everything. Also, all the WIPs that I have. I will see you next year. Now, I have one thing. Before we go, I have one thing. And that is, for next year, I'm gonna start off the year trying something different. And I actually think I'm gonna start off tomorrow with this. And that is, I've been watching Jamie doing her like daily check-ins. And I really enjoy watching those daily check-ins. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna do that. She compilates it into 1 week of a video. I will do like a week or 2 weeks. I haven't decided yet the scheduling of it. My video is still gonna go up on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Central European time, as they always do. So I'm gonna try that out here in the beginning of the year, just showcasing every day like where I am with the pattern, how much I have stitched, what I'm gonna stitch next. Might play around with some wheels for a day or two, stuff like that. I really thought they were fun doing those things, so we're gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out. But yeah, that was all for me. I hope you will have a great new year, a great end of this year, and a great start of the new year. And I will see you in the new year in 2025. Hope you have an awesome day. If you like this video, please thumbs it up. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Down below you find all of the details as usual. And if you like this video and want to see more like this, just hit that subscribe button. and I will see you in 2025. Bye!